Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause to all the panelists up on stage. Thank you. I'm Shairo's moderator for today, and I believe the panelists are very much aware that this evening we are having a forum, an open forum, where we are going to open this session to members of the floor, asking questions, related or non-related to the area of expertise, which you have mentioned earlier. Don't worry, it's table topics.
Thank you, that makes me feel very good.
All right. For non-Toastmasters, yeah? So it's a free and easy session whereby we would like to engage with the audience on how they would like to understand or get deeper understanding of the subject matter which you have expressed or shared earlier, or other general issues which might be of benefit to many of this audience today. Well, to start the ball rolling, I'm sure all of you here have witnessed or the sharing of all these great panelists here we have on stage. Let me recall, we have Lisa Evans. Round of applause please for Lisa Evans. Dr. Indigo, and Dr. Peter, yep. Coach Mel, yep. Jai, and Dr. Chris Wu, yeah, right. Amazing speakers. Yeah, when we mention about being a speaker, you don't only speak with audience, but you also communicate and engage with the audience. What kind of character do a speaker really need to have? Does only speaking make him or her a good speaker, or he or she need to have certain character that helps the audience understand, appreciate his or her thoughts? Maybe you would like to share your views on this. Maybe you can start with Dr. Yep, there's a mic over there, yeah. Dr. Peter.
Yes, I think for a speaker to be effective and to have an impact on the audience, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
One thing you need to do is to relate to the audience. I think you have to understand the audience background, where they're coming from, level of understanding of the topic, and speak to their language. So in other words, you have to have the quality of relating to people, be in their shoes, and also you have a topic that relates to them.
Maybe can you put nearer the mic to yourself?
So the topic has to relate to them, and you have to be specific and structure in your presentation of the topic. I think that's my comment. I think these are the top 2-3 qualities of a speech.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes.
For me, I really believe what's important is authenticity and transparency. I think you got to be very, very careful of trying to memorize what you want to say and just speak from the heart. Just speak from what you know. If you speak from what you know, you don't need notes. You know, if you're talking about why you believe something is the way it is, do you really need a note? When you call your boyfriend or girlfriend, do you have notes? No, you speak from the heart. And that, I believe, is what allows people to connect with you, the authenticity and transparency.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Coach.
I'd like to say ditto with that. And it's about serving. I think the word for me is serving. If I come up to the stage or off the stage or anywhere, is to be able to serve whoever's in front of me. And when you do that, then you're not going to be served. It's as simple as that.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach Mel. How about Lisa?
I think is this on?
Yeah.
From a storytelling perspective, I talk about 3 R's. So for a story to really connect, it needs to be real, it needs to be relevant, and it needs to be relatable. So only you have your stories, and only you can share the stories in the way that you can. So by sharing your story, that makes you absolutely unique. You've got material that nobody else does. Your story needs to be relevant to your presentation. It needs to fit in with the theme, but most importantly, it needs to be relatable. So that's where we're looking at, what's the core, what's the heart of the story and that common emotion, and how can we be relatable to everybody in the audience so that they can see themselves in our stories, and they can relate to the characters in our stories.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Jai, your views.
Thank you very much. Just like Lisa had 3 R's, I have 4 M's.
All right.
Right. And so what kind of character must you have to connect with your audience? I think first you must have a strong message, which is what do you want to share with your audience? Then you have a motive, which is why you want to share that message with your audience. You have a method, which is how do you want to share that? And you have a moral, which is when your audience leaves, what do they remember from your story? And finally, one character that is very important to connect the audiences, to learn to stop speaking before the listener stops listening.
Thank you very much. All right. Chris. Yeah.
So the question here is, do you need a specific character to come on stage? Now, if you're talking about characters, you have specific personalities and you've got your own way of talking. Do you need a specific character? Yes, as I said before, all of you have multiple personalities. All of you have multiple identities. No one's born, like I said, from the womb and just says, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You have to engender that. And so you have to learn how to speak to the public. You have to learn certain skills. Whether you want to be a humorous speaker, to have that character, or engender an inspirational speaker, or engender a motivational speaker. They don't come naturally, ladies and gentlemen. You have to learn it. And so, do you need to have a specific character on stage? Yes, you do. Don't ever be yourself.
Don't ever be yourself. That's okay. Thank you very much. Well, that's a good reminder. Well, I believe we have heard some of the perspective of being a speaker, what are the characters needed to be a good speaker on stage, and how the audience can relate to you. I think those feedbacks and views are very significant. Well, before I go to the next round, maybe I would like to open the floor. If there are any questions you would like to ask a member of the panel on stage. Anyone? Any questions or you like to ask? Anyone? All right. Maybe I'll start with Lisa. The mic is moving. Can you help? Oh, yeah, they have over there. Yeah. All right, Lisa. You are also a Toastmaster. And I'm sure you have attended a lot of club meetings many times. And managing these attending clubs and work and life and family. So how do you balance all these activities? Maybe you can share with these thoughts.
That is a tough one. So not only having a business as well as a job. I had a job as well as a business while I was transitioning into professional speaking. So a job, a business, 3 kids and a workaholic husband. Yeah, that's and Toastmasters to schedule in. That is a busy life. And I think that, really, particularly as an entrepreneur, that the word balance doesn't really exist. So I prefer to talk about boundaries rather than balance. And I think, fitting Toastmasters in, Toastmasters has been my family, and at one point I was up to how many clubs? At least 10 clubs. I was a competition junkie for quite a few years. But these days I don't go to Toastmasters as often. I mainly go to Toastmasters to give back and to serve. I earned my DTM in just under 4 years, which was my goal. And for me, the letters DTM stand for develop, train, and mentor. So I feel as though now my role is to develop, train, and mentor other people. I don't see the point in getting another DTM. I know nothing about pathways, but I am here to serve.
Many of you agreeing, yeah. All right. Okay, brilliant. Maybe Dr. Indigo, can you share, as member of, regardless you're a Toastmaster or non-Toastmaster, when you are a member of an organization, how do you get the community to be involved with your organization, or is it the other way around? You get yourself involved with the community in order to be successful as a leader.
So I don't really understand what you're asking of me. When you
Do
say
you get-
community, what type
do you-
of community?
The society, your surrounding, your neighborhood, as a leader, do you get your surrounding, the community to be in your organization? Or you have to be going out, outreaching them?
So without sounding cliche-ish, where much is given, much is owed. So the more I rose up and became successful as a business leader, I knew it was my duty to give back to whatever community I was in. So I would start participating in events and what I believe is the 10th, giving 10% of my time, 10% of my earnings, 10% of my spirit into things. And I think that really leads to success.
Right.
Mel mentioned it, Lisa, right, Lisa?
Yeah.
Mentioned it, serving. I believe that people who take on the spirit of serving in their community are the ones who really end up succeeding. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how the universe works on that level, but it just seems like those of us who give, we get. And the more we give, the more we keep getting. And it's just such a cycle. So I don't know if I'm answering the question correctly,
Correct.
but I believe that my success, I can speak of my success, comes from being a part of whatever community I'm in. I've been here in Kuala Lumpur 18 months, pretty much. And it's meeting people who are supporting me, and I haven't done anything to deserve it here. There is absolutely nothing I've done to be blessed the way I've been blessed here in Asia. But I've done my hard lifting back in the States. And now I believe it's coming back to me here. And so now that I'm being blessed here, I'll be able to bless others down the road. I get that, I understand that. And I don't think enough people understand that principle. I want to hear what Mel has to say, because I know
Yeah.
he's all over it.
Yeah, Mel, you look like you want to add on something to that. Can you please add on something to that, please?
Ditto again. You see, the thing in your heart, you know it. But sometimes we're just too afraid to reach out to that thing deep inside us. We've got this call from somewhere. It's either we have to be there or be someone to someone else. And the question is, will you take that step forward to do that, or will you just wait for someone to initiate? And the question is to all of us, including myself. Every day I wake up asking myself, what can I give to whoever I'm with that day, that same day? So I'm not putting an agenda on the line to say, oh, today I'm going to meet 5 people. And make sure there's 5 people are going to listen to what Coach Mel got to say. Then I'm full of myself, which I've been full of myself before. And I think I don't want to be that anymore. So it's a time of you and I reflecting and going internally and asking, what do you and I have to give? When we give into this cup, it overflows.
Well, Coach Mel, maybe people join a club or an organization with different goals. But then how do we understand these goals in order to give them what they want? People join Toastmasters for a reason, and then people leave and people stay. So as an organization, how do we look after them? Because we do not know their goals, and how do we retain members in an organization or a club?
My question?
Yes, for you,
Yeah,
maybe you can add
okay.
on to that. Yeah.
Sure. It's not the goals, it's actually the values.
All right.
You see, we attract people based on higher things, not lower things. Goals are here. Higher things are values and beliefs. And so we attract people at this level. Straight away, if I ask you what Toastmasters means to you, you can say it in 3 words, I'm sure. And that's based on your own value aligning with what Toastmaster represents. And that's where you see that value being aligned. And when that happens, then what you give and what you get, which is that goal thing, will come to pass. But if there's misalignment from the top in the start, you can forget about the goals, because then what happens is you're just going to go there and just take what you need and just leave it after a while.
Yeah, but then the members in the club, maybe they don't feel they're connected when their goals or values are not being reached out by the organization. Does that happen in your
Of course,
experience?
it happens every day.
Yeah. Is that the reason why people leave an organization? Or?
There's so many factors. I'm sure some of us are wanting to jump in. But I think just one point is that, even living here in Malaysia, and I've got the mic, I'm just being very careful. Living here in Malaysia is a beautiful thing. Now, if you align with the beauty of Malaysia versus the other stuff, then it will flow right for you. Are you getting it? But if you align with all those other stuff and say, woe is me and why am I here and all this stuff, then your output of whatever you're going to do is going to be coming from that half empty cup that you have.
Yeah.
That's just...
All right, yeah, feel free.
Have you heard of Wayne Dyer? Because he speaks to that, before he passed away. He said, when we change the way we see things, the things we see will change. There are people I run into who will talk about corruption. I'm not going to sit here and be naive and say it doesn't exist, but if I'm not working on that level, I'm not impacted by it. I change the way I see things, so what I see and what I value is reflected in how I view or my perspective.
All right. Please, Jai.
The same question.
Yeah. Add on
Firstly,
to that.
sorry?
You can add on.
Oh, just 1 minute. Firstly, I find it bizarre, cosmic coincidence with what Dr. Indigo just mentioned, because that quote, Doctor, is in my book outside. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change is one of the chapters I have in my book. If I just wish to add to what Mel said about values, I think more importantly, with everything else that he spoke about, it's to make people feel valued. To make them feel that you are an integral part of this organization or this forum and this fraternity. And if you let them know that they are important, the same goes, I think, with organizations and, with leaders, with teams. If you let them know that, you learn from whatever they have to contribute and make them feel valued, feel part of the system, you might find people connected with you or sticking around longer, not wanting to leave. So with values, it's also being make them feel important and make them feel valued.
Yeah. Thank you. Since you're holding the mic. Oh yeah, before that, you can add on. Sorry.
Yeah?
I'll get back to you after this. Yes. Yeah. It's not on, I think. Just pass the mic, yeah. Maybe you can give that mic, yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm probably the only non-member of Toastmasters here. So you're not? Okay. So we're the outcasts. Okay.
Toastmasters, non-Toastmasters.
Yeah. I've been a member of other organizations, non-profit, and in my experience, in order to attract members, the organization has to meet the needs of these members.
Okay.
In other words, people join organizations because they have something to gain, benefit. It's like marketing, in a sense. So organizations that don't serve the needs of society are bound to die. And I've seen many organizations who died, they failed because they stopped serving, meeting the needs of society. So the organization has to make it known through probably its members word of mouth, what it's doing, and how they can best meet the needs of young, older people.
This is like marketing of a
marketing.
club.
So it's a marketing problem, because marketing is about communication, about telling people, informing people what you're doing, and people will buy your product. So in this case, because there's no budget for advertising and expensive stuff, and you don't need it, if you do a good job, word of mouth will do the job. Now, talking about Toastmasters, I wasn't aware before I came to this conference about the good things that have been done here. I'm very impressed. And I think you're doing, and seeing the members, especially the young members and the more mature members, how confident they are, the leadership skills they have, that I would love my students and myself to have been benefited from this. So you're doing a good job. The thing is, if you want to get more members, you have to sell it. You have to, so the benefits have to become known to the potential members.
Yep.
That's my view.
Thanks. Jai, I wanted to ask you just now about when Dr. Peter mentioned about club activities.
Right.
Club activities sometimes are fun and exciting. Some do not really make their club and activities fun and exciting. So how do we keep this momentum going? It cannot be seasonal. It should be ongoing kind of thing. Club should be fun. People look forward to go to the club meetings.
Right.
In your perspective, how do you go about this?
So I'm sorry, your question is how to keep club activities fun?
Yeah.
Engaging?
Engaging.
Right. I think the first thing that that I can think of is, are you enjoying it yourself first, If you are engaged, if you find it, entertaining and enjoyable, I'm sure you'll be able to transfer that to your members and to the fact that they are there, they see you. If you are in a leadership role, they'll probably look up to you as a role model or someone they could emulate. So to keep it engaging within I think the framework of a Toastmaster meeting. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
because
sure.
a Toastmaster
Yes,
meeting
correct,
is very
correct.
structured, right?
Yeah, correct.
You will have your prepared...
But it still can be fun.
Yes, so here's my take on this. For example, the club that I come from, I'm actually from Smedley's Speaker Society. No points for guessing who the club is named after. Right? So, from District 92 in Bangalore, India. For example, in our meetings, when the GE asks the tag team to stand up and describe their roles, I'm quite puzzled how that after so many meetings for so many years, we still get our timekeeper stand up, open the manual and say, as a timekeeper, my role is to alert you.
Yes, it happens.
Or you will have a grammarian. This is really funny, my role as an accountant is to count all the ahs and ums and the fills. I'm like, hello. I mean, you've been enough times in these meetings. Why can't you just not go by the manual and make it more fun? As in, for example, the timekeeper would say, ladies and gentlemen, time and tide waits for no man. Just as we will not wait for you to go beyond 3 minutes. So my time, my duty here is to alert you when that happens. Something like that.
Yeah.
Why can't you be more
change the
creative?
manual. All right.
Have a little more fun with your ahs and ums. It doesn't have to be ahs and ums. It can be so many other things. Like,
Okay,
like you know what I mean. I mean, like, you know what I mean. Like, yeah, right, get it? Those are also counted, right? Not just ahs and ums,
All right.
Yeah. So you could have fun with that, I think.
Okay, all right.
And also, maybe you could have fun with table topics, for example. Yes, it gets a little, I think, scary when it makes it sound like, hello, you are next. This is your topic. No, maybe you just have a round-robin table topic where each person in the group speaks on that, or maybe a different topic and different take on things like that. Just play around within the framework what you can do with your club, structured agenda or program.
Not so structured, yeah?
Yeah. The other thing you also do, if I may just take another minute here, is our club in Bangalore. By the way, my wife, who's also part of the audience, is the president of our club now. So which officially makes me the first gentleman, right? So we have one outdoor meeting a month.
Outdoor?
Yeah, which means we don't have it within the four walls or confines of our club. We have it at the park.
All right.
So in Bangalore, there's a famous park called Cubbon Park. And we have that once a month on our meetings are on Sundays, by the way.
Okay.
So one meeting a month will be held at the park. We'll have the same thing, speeches and table topics, but it's with dogs and stuff around and people walking around. It's under a gazebo, it's open air. Sometimes the acoustics can be a bit of a bother, but it's fun, and we do that.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So we could try something out like that, maybe. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have, you would like to add anything? Yeah. Yeah, I see some hands already, yeah. You have any questions from the floor? Yes, Jeff Andrews. There's a mic over there, Jeff.
Thanks, Charles.
Yeah.
If I can put this as sensitively as possible, we have panel members of different generations in front of us. What, from your experience, are the different challenges affecting speakers, addressing different generations of audience members, from millennials through to people of older generations? What do you see as the different challenges which we now have to face? Thank you.
Who would like to take that first? Dr. Ilingo, yeah. Thanks, Jeff.
There is definitely a difference. Let me see. 2 days ago, or a couple of days ago, I was speaking at Sunway University, and my son said, "Are you nervous?" He always asks me, "Are you nervous?" wherever I go. And I'm like, this is what I do for a living. It's like asking somebody at McDonald's who's doing fries, "Are you nervous?" It's like, no, this is what I do. But I was nervous at Sunway because I find millennials, or at least younger audiences, will call you on the carpet if you get something wrong or if they don't agree. They don't mind letting you know. And maybe not so much in Malaysia or in Asia, but in the States, they'll let you, especially if they've been in school for a year and they know it all now, they want to let you know that they know that you don't know what you're talking about. So you have to really be on your stuff with them. So I recommend, for those of you who are going to speak to a younger generation, really know your stuff, because they Google while you're talking.
Yeah.
So you can't get up there and act like you know about something that you don't know about. So stay in your lane. That's so important in working or talking to a younger generation. When I talk to my more seasoned professionals, it's a little less challenging because I know they're not going to take out the phone and Google everything. But what that means for me is that I have to challenge me to continue getting new information, to continue knowing what I'm talking about. Sometimes I'll even stop and say, because I want to make sure that something that I believed in or used to teach about maybe 10 or 15 years, is it still relevant? Is it still the truth? It may have been the truth 10, 15 years ago, but today it may not be the truth. Prime example, people used to believe the world was flat. Was that the truth? It was the truth for that time. And then they realized it's not flat. So we had another truth. So I say this, when you've been speaking for some time, like some of us,
Yeah.
I hate to point out people because I've done that before. I've said to someone, we're in the same age group. And it's like, no, I'm actually 30. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I thought we were the same age. But if you are 40s and above, keep in mind, stay on top of your stuff. Go back and do a fact check to make sure what you're talking about is still the truth.
All right. Anyone would like to add to that? Yeah, please.
My experience mostly with lecturing at university level.
Students.
And I agree with you. They're more demanding. As for surfing the internet during the class, it's a risk.
Can we put it nearer,
It's a
please?
risk for us. So what I've done, something clever, I don't allow use of internet in class. So this way, I stay away from trouble, okay? Or texting. Of course, texting is not allowed during exams.
Of course, yeah.
Now, you know what can happen. They can take a picture of the exam, send it to their friends, and get the answers back. Another thing I find is that students are more visual. they, instead of reading, they like to see pictures, videos. And you have to be a motivational speaker.
Motivational.
Motivation. They're not easily motivated. Okay, so you have to be a performer for them. If they realize that you're not performing for them, they will not attend classes, which is good or bad.
But I'm sure your class is always full.
Yeah, so I like full classes, but
Yeah.
if they skip classes, you might say, well, what am I doing wrong? And usually it's because you don't spend enough time motivating them, being a speaker on your top. So those are my comments. They're more demanding. They can easily walk out. They are demanding return to their money. They say, I'm paying for tuition. What have you done for us? You can't skip, as a professor, I can't skip classes or get my TA to lecture them because they're going to complain. Years ago, it was easier. And also, you have to know what you're talking about.
Of course.
Yeah. It helps. But sometimes, I have to also say that being strict and tough marker works against you. And the ones who get the higher ratings are the ones who are easy markers.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them. So sometimes my ratings are not as high as the younger assistant professors or lecturers who want to keep their job.
Yeah.
So and at the end of the year, we're evaluated, on the teaching. But I don't care because I have tenure.
Right, thanks.
So
you want to add?
For those
I'll
of
come
you who
back to Chris after this.
are speakers, a lot of times we worry about evals. Would you agree? You worry about the evaluations that you're going to get at the end of your presentation. Here's something that I've learned to do. Based on the bell curve theory, you're going to have 10 to 15% that no matter what you say, they don't like you. Then you got 10 to 15% no matter what you say, they love you. I play to the middle. I already got the A's. I already got the 4.0s from the people who love me. These people over here, remember I said earlier, I may not be able to get you in my boat, but I don't want you putting holes in my boat. I just play enough to them to get them so that they're not mad, angry, and pissed. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to get them in my boat. I'm going to play to that middle to get more of them over to the 4.0s. Now, what that means for you as a speaker, as a presenter, it's almost like in leadership. We spend way too much time overworking our top performers and trying to motivate our low performers. That's not how you spend your time. The people in the middle will fall through the cracks if you don't invest in them. So when I'm speaking, I'm investing to my middle. Figure out who are your middle. You can easily figure out your middle. The people who are to the right are like this. Everything you're saying, no matter what, they're like, oh, this is great, I love it, give me more. The people over here are like this. But the middle is like waiting, give me something, I just really want to be with you, just give me something to work with here. Give them something to work with. A lot of times you're not paying attention to them.
Yeah. Chris, I wanted to get your feedback on this about giving feedback and evaluation. Sometimes when you are being honest or giving sincere, genuine feedback, maybe it hurts someone and they turn away from you. So how do you manage situations like this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
When you're giving an evaluation, you're not supposed to hurt anyone. That's your intention. If you intend to hurt, you will hurt. But if you intend to help someone grow, tell them that the issues that we're dealing right now is not to hurt you, but to make you better. That individual should not feel hurt. They should actually feel better. They should feel more motivated. I have fired about 5 people from their jobs, and everyone that I fire says thank you at the end of the day.
Thank you for firing them.
Yes, they say thank you because I tell them this is not for you. And I tell them I'm not firing you because I don't like you. I'm firing you because I'm giving you the opportunity to find something you love. This is not right for you. You're struggling. You don't love it. Every day you come to work, it's a chore, isn't it? And so they answer back, yes, I don't really like it, Chris, to be honest. I said, it's no harm done here. right? You feel all right, I feel all right. It's not personal, but at the end of the day, what's your intention? Make that clear, and you should be fine. You should not hurt anyone.
Yeah, as long as you are genuine, both parties agreeable. Jai?
Can I just add to that?
Of course, yeah, right.
Okay. On feedback?
Yeah, I can get 2 lines.
Yes. How many of you here have heard of Marshall Goldsmith? Shout out a yes.
Yes.
Right. Now, Marshall Goldsmith said in a podcast I heard about 6 questions, don't give people feedback, give them feed forward.
Feed forward.
So tell them, here is something I want to talk to you about. It's not for you to go back to anything, but this will help you to move forward in your life. So here's my feed forward to you. And very often, this works.
All right.
Because you get people more receptive to what you have to say.
Okay.
So it's not feedback, it's feed forward.
All right, let's try feed forward. Questions, please. Thank you very much.
Can we now have this session as the Q&A?
Yeah.
Since we have the last segment.
Yes.
Any question?
Questions from the floor? Anyone? Yes.
So my name is Andrew. Hello, panelists. My question is, in life, we all encounter people such as in this room who are working to make themselves better, people who go to your talks or your classes and are looking to improve themselves. But we also encounter people who are not that motivated and who tend to have very negative reactions. Sometimes they're called haters. How do you handle those kind of people?
People who are not motivated.
People who react negatively
People
to
react
everything
negatively.
you say. People who accuse you of having some hidden nefarious agenda.
All right. All panelists can have a chance to this.
I have to apologize, I didn't quite understand the question.
I would like to say, I got something to say about everything though, so love me where I am. So when we talk about haters, or we talk about people who, no matter what you say, they're gonna give you pushback, you have to decide to what extent will you allow yourself to go down a rabbit hole. Meaning, remember, for those of you who were in my session earlier, I talked about the woman who said, I can't believe you didn't wear pink, you should have wore what you want. And I responded to her 3 times. After the 3rd time, I could have continued becoming what would become an argument, or what I would consider defending myself. I don't defend myself. I'll explain it to you. I'll even justify it. After that, it's a wrap. We're not going to keep talking about this because you don't have to defend yourself, justify yourself, and so forth. So when you have haters, the more you continue to talk and dialogue, the more they're going to spew hate. So you can't change hearts. You can't change minds. What you can do is explain yourself and be done with it. That's my view.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else would like to add to that, to respond? Lisa or... Yeah.
I tend to agree with you. Not every student is equally motivated, and not every student wants to learn or listen to you the same way. From my experience with students again, they're the ones who are highly motivated, they are looking for the high grades, and as you said earlier, no matter what you say, they're going to love you. And then there's the ones that are in the middle. And then there are ones that are at the bottom. They shouldn't be in school, shouldn't be in that class. So they're there because their parents want them to be there, or because they have nothing else to do, whatever, you know. And usually those students, no matter what you do, for those people, they will never change. So,
yeah, no matter what you do.
I would try to figure out what's the best way for me to teach the ones that, either the best ones or the ones in the middle, and work with them. And in other words, sometimes they they ask me, which level are you teaching at? The top ones or the bottom ones? And I say I will never dumb down my lectures. I will always speak to the level of the ones who want to learn, which is middle
I
class.
see. All right.
Because the ones that are more easily motivated.
Okay, understand? Maybe to give fairness, Lisa, maybe you wanted to say something to that? To respond to the questions?
It's a tough one. It's not enjoyable spending time around people who are not motivated. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that every Toastmasters club has got a negative Nelly or two. And I think, recognising that everybody is on a different journey and acknowledging that. But I personally will prefer to spend time with people who are motivated, people who are inspirational, who've got that energy, people who I can learn from and who are willing to learn and share with me. So, spending time with people that inspire you and motivate you to be your best self and leaving the others in their own space. And you could just try too hard sometimes, I think, and often it's just about acknowledging and understanding where they're at that point in time.
Thank you very much. We have a question from the floor.
Hi, my name is Imran. I'm from USM Toastmasters Club and Oracle Advanced Toastmasters Club from Penang.
Yeah.
I have a question from any of the panel.
Sure.
We talk about communication and other things, and I think one of the important things which is left out is the leadership.
Okay.
So can anyone tell me about leadership empowerment and leadership 4.0?
Empowerment?
Yes. Leadership empowerment. How one leader can empower other leaders?
Maybe
Are you
you
asking
like
how do leaders empower other leaders?
how leaders empower leaders. How leaders empower leaders.
I think the way leaders empower leaders are by allowing people to be who they are, truly their whole self. If I can allow you to be who you are, I will bring out the best.
But is it currently in practice? And how?
I don't believe it's practiced enough because I think deep down we're all fearful of sometimes being upstaged. That if I can keep you down, then I can elevate. I'm not saying that's right, and I'm not saying that's what I do, but I do believe that happens a lot. And Toastmaster is no different than the general population. People are people, and some people fare better when they can be better than someone. So when you have enough confidence in your own abilities, you'll allow other people to shine. I don't believe my letting your light shine dims my light. When you get to that point, I believe that's when you're truly successful and you're a leader.
Yeah.
When you let everyone light shine.
All right. Mel?
I'll jump in. Wow. When I work with this bunch of exciting people in the workplace, one of the things that I recognize that leaders perhaps don't do too much is believe in the other person's potential. A lot of time they will look at this because it's so process-driven in the workplace. And similarly in certain societies as well. So if you're not meeting this, you're just average. But what happens if there is a switch inside their head? The leader recognizes that if they were to choose, so it's a choice, to believe in human potential. If every one of us here today were to just have a switch there and say, oh, today I choose, whatever the situation happens, I will choose to believe in human potential. Your day, I guarantee you, will be a whole lot better. That's just one day. Try it for a couple of days. Try it for, if that fits you, as a habit. You go around identifying, that's what we call in positive psychology, the strengths versus just picking on that 10% that you're no good on. So that's my take for it.
All right. Thanks, Mel. I believe I received this cue to end our session. I would like to thank all our panelists for sharing. Round of applause, please, for all the panelists. They have tried their best to share thoughts. Yep.
I was told that I can mention that those
Oh,
of you
yeah.
who bought books, the books are
Promotion,
we brought
promotion.
them in.
Get her
I'm
books.
not going to be at G Tower tomorrow. You need to come tonight, well, now, to get your books.
Aha. Don't forget to get her books, yeah? Well, thank you again to all the panelists. As I mentioned, Toastmasters is not only about public speaking, it's also about leadership. And I'm sure many of them have already mentioned and highlight many times that incorporating both the ability to communicate and to lead will make others also shine. And we relate to our objectives and our goal will make someone even a greater person. Thank you very much to all the panelists for giving your time and thoughts. And Shiros, once again, thank you everyone for giving your best attention. See you tonight at the gala dinner, and bye-bye.